Thank you very much, Wendy. Again, welcome everybody, and it's my pleasure to talk about achieving stakeholder commitment for project success, especially because so many projects still fail. The failure rate is pretty high, and that can be changed, and it really does start with you, and that's what we want to focus on here today. Not what your boss should do, what somebody else should do, what your colleagues should do if they only listen to you, but it really does start with you as setting the example for what it's going to take to create success in your organization. And the first thing is your attitude, that to have a positive attitude, that you really are likable, that you are out there in setting an example, and people want to follow you. They want to work with you. To do successful projects consistently is going to require skills on the part of you. And so we're going to highlight some of the skills. Maybe we think we're up in the clouds and being idealistic here, but I think there's a complete set of skills that can embrace getting more consistent project success. And I think, are you ready to embrace those skills? And the thing I love about project management is that it does draw upon so many different disciplines as a way to be more successful. And that's what we're going to highlight as well in what we're covering in this webinar. Your intent is going to drive what you do or don't do to get to your goal. And then your execution is going to be drawing from a whole circle of intersecting thoughts and disciplines as a way to put together. And that's what I was saying earlier about your environment, your skill set as a project leader, and your support from your upper management and your sponsors. All of these need to come together. And you can see I highlight a little green space in the middle where they do come together. And I think one of our goals needs to be, how do we expand that green space? Which means all of those circles come closer together, and everybody understands project management. They understand what it takes to do projects, to fund them, to monitor them throughout, and to close, get the results that were intended. Not enough to be able to work alone. It does require help from others. And those people who are highly skilled technical professionals are not necessarily the best people to be a project manager or a project leader, because they're so focused on their technical skills and left brain dominant, if you will, that they sometimes forget to pay attention to others and realize that the people have different ideas, different experiences, different ways of working together. And the challenges that we have is that most project managers don't have necessarily a lot of positional authority where they have people reporting to them directly, that they control their advancement, their pay, their benefits, and so forth. You have to really focus more so on influence without authority, and that means you're going to require a lot of influence skills. It also means that a lot of people report to different parts of an organization, and those organizations may be functioning as silos. In other words, they're so innately, myopically focused on their own environment that they don't play well with other people in other parts of the organization. And many of those structures of organizations are very convoluted. In fact, many organizational structures may get in the way of doing projects, and you have to work with people and beg, borrow, or steal resources from other parts. And that means you're sharing those resources. A lot of people, the ideal is to have full-time dedicated people on every project. But the reality of many organizations is that you have to share those resources with other people, with their other work that they're doing, their real work, if you will. And that means you don't have as great of dedication or focus as you would like. Dictatorial styles. That means that some people may just really want to tell you what to do and not listen to you. And that's the case a lot of times with upper managers who may not understand what project management's all about. Maybe when they went through their phase of their career and they did projects, they didn't have as much knowledge about project management, and the Project Management Institute and ITMPI and many places that can help them learn better. And they just got it done. And how they got it done might have been very stressful, that a lot of people that they just pushed them hard. And so they kind of keep that style as they get into other levels of authority. A lot of you may be able to relate to somebody like that in your organization. However, you still depend upon them to get funding, to get the okay, to get the resources that you need, and to get decisions made. Most of us are now working in multicultural global project teams that are not physically co-located, or maybe they might be virtual. And all of this is happening faster and faster and faster. Life cycles are getting shorter, or the time when you have good things going well, you got the people on the team, the project over, they go on to the next thing, and those cycles are getting faster and faster. Because we need many third-party suppliers and manufacturing partners, those are people who we're vitally dependent upon for many of our projects for a lot of the resources or parts, materials, and they might have a different culture than your organization. They might have other priorities that they don't put your project at the top of their list. And of course, those customers or clients that you're dealing with, a lot of times they're very demanding and increasingly more so. So all of those things are happening much faster. These are things that we have to deal with, and they all require people skills working together in order to be successful. So it is all about people, and they matter because the result that you deliver is going to be dependent upon your influence skills. A lot of you don't think you're a salesperson, but I think you are. You're going to have to sell your project, sell your ideas, sell the concept that somebody ought to work full-time or give higher priority to your project. It might mean changing some thinking. A lot of people think change is hard. A lot of people don't want to change. However, we can change our minds in an instant if there's something that's compelling or something that is so clearly put out there through your influence skills, your selling skills. You can change people's thinking to be able to say, this project is important, this project is fascinating, it's a wow project, I want to be part of it. Of course, there's going to be conflict come up during it, and what you negotiate through the conflict, through getting the resources, through making decisions, are all going to make a key difference. All those are dependent upon people. Negotiating. I love doing a negotiating course. I'm going to be doing one for a company next week, and it is a lifelong skill. I think it was over 30 years ago I took a first negotiating course. It changed my life. Every day we negotiate, whether it's with our partner, with a vendor, with our team members, with our sponsors, management. It's always out there, and the more that we get better skilled in negotiating, the better the outcome. And it's not like we're going to get everything that we want. It's that we get a 5 to 10% better outcome from every transaction. Your social skills are going to be that currency of exchange. And that's how you get people to want to work with you. That's how you influence them without authority. You give them something. You give them the opportunity. You give them the exposure to new technology or exposure to a better run project. These are all currencies that you can exchange in support for them working with you on giving a dedicated effort to the project. So are you equipped to get the best outcomes? Mark Langley is in the center of the picture, is the president of the Project Management Institute. And he has a video where he asks, are you ready? And most people kind of say, sure, we're ready, let's go do it. He says, not necessarily, because your executives are wanting more than just the fundamentals of project management. We need to have those basic skills, but they're not sufficient. Necessary, but not sufficient. It does take strategic and business skills. It's going to take team skills and project management skills, leadership skills. So those are things that are going to be crucial to our ability to be successful, and they all require people. At the end of his video, Mark asks, have you done